lot of times the last couple of years about Omarion. So I'm going to ask you about him again, but can you maybe describe it maybe in a different way than you have before, because tonight was just a different level.
All of these young people are very talented or they wouldn't be here. And you ask them why they play. They play because they're very talented, but they have to love to compete because that's what they do at the highest level. And I told them before the game, you work 350 days for 13 Saturdays or 14 Saturdays. So it's got to be so important to you. And you've got to be consistently good to be great. He is consistent with everything he does in his life. He eats right. He works out. He has no vices. He's a good student. He's a great person. He's very unselfish. When we weren't moving the ball or blocking very well for him in the third quarter, he's quiet, but I saw him slip down and go to every offensive lineman and just tap him on the head and say, we're good, come on, let's finish this thing. So he's got such a gentle strength of leadership about him, but he's one of the best players and people that I've ever been around, and really, really proud of what he's accomplished. And we've said before that he could have left here very easily in a time of NIL where people are talking to your players and they're leaving for always greener grass, and he stayed here, and it's worked for him too.
And what follow-up to that? You had some big-time backs when you were here the first time and in Texas. What's a common thread that he had to some of those guys?
He's so powerful. He gets better in the fourth quarter than he does the first. He's got 4.4 speed at 220 pounds, and that's freakish. But to be unselfish, to be a team guy that the players all love and admire, it's just a very unique quality that makes him special.
One of his last carries of the game, like he carried about 5 guys in the end zone.
He did.
Is that kind of the essence of Omarion?
It is who he is. He knew that we had a chance to put the game away. They were all on the line of scrimmage. We weren't going to throw it. They knew it. We knew it. And they were ducking down low and submarining the line of scrimmage. He just jumped over them and then ran it in, which, again, is a great instinct for a tremendous back.
Mack, the Tar Heels who have rushed for at least 200 yards in 3 different games are Kelvin Bryant, Mike Boyd, Kelvin Bryant, Amos Lawrence, and Omarion Hampton. First of all, did he give a speech in the locker room again? And second of all, I mean, you mentioned how he just stays level-headed and makes no deal about whether he gets 32 carries or 12 carries. I mean,
Yeah, when you rush for 249 yards, I told them, and they all said, really? Oh my gosh. But he didn't want to talk. So he's not going to say anything. And it gets pretty natural for him to run like that. He's just he is a player that changes games. He makes their defense line up to stop him, and where we've got to get better is we've got to take advantage of those alignments that are just totally in place to stop him, so we can finish strong.
Did he give a speech?
No, he did not. In fact, September's mom talks about as much as Omarion did, and I asked her to, and she said, good job. So that would have been about what Omarion would have said.
Back on the topic of bowl eligibility, you kind of clinched it, I guess, at different points in your second year back. You've gotten it at 6-0, 6-1, getting toward the end here. How, I guess, crucial is it for you guys to just kind of get it out the way and just kind of get it taken care of, for these next years?
I think it's not our goal. It's an early goal. It's not the ultimate goal, obviously. But when you're 6-0 and 6-1 and get to a bowl, you kind of say, "Hey, we knew that. We're going to do that anyway. That's fine." But now we've got other things. For this team to have been in such a hole, very few teams, in my estimation, could have come out of this, and that means they've got great character. I'm so proud of the coaches that they've hung in there because they were in a hole and everything was negative. And then you lose a 23-year-old that's crushing. It doesn't happen very often in your life, and you never want it to happen. You can take 2 different paths. You can go down and just quit, and you got plenty of excuses. And they didn't do that. They kept their head up. They kept fighting. They kept competing. And I think that's why they're so proud tonight. And I told them 2 had been easy. This one wasn't easy. But you kept your head up, and you kept fighting. And that's what you've learned through all the turmoil and tribulation through the season this year. And I've learned probably as much in the last 6 weeks as I've learned my whole life. And it's sometimes to see the stars, you got to go through the darkness. And that's kind of what we've done. And I like what's happened with this team and how they've responded to it.
Defensively, how did you guys shut down, I don't want to say shut down, you got 24 points, but it seemed really like defense was in control the whole night. How did you guys do it?
Yes, we've been a great defensive team now for 3 weeks, and we've done it. And they've got the slow mesh, which is tough, and their running back's a great player. He's not a good player. He made us miss, I won't say who it was, in the hole, and ran for about 25 yards. And we're right in the hole. And he's, you look up, and they hand it to him on the slow mesh, and he's made 5 yards. And you can't even see him. We're all around him. We're trying to knock him back. So I'm really, really proud. We offensively, we gave Wake Forest a really short field like they did us at the 6-yard line with a fumble, which you can't do. And especially when you're up 24-10, that's when we have to learn at 24-10. They're not a throwing team. If you take that drive and go score and you make it 31-10, then they have to go faster. They have to open it up, and that's not who they are. And we didn't do that, and that was a disappointment. But just really proud of Jeff Collins and the defensive staff. They've stopped the run. They've disrupted the quarterback. We forced 2 turnovers last week. We had 4 tonight? Or 3? Had 3 tonight. So now they're starting to force more turnovers and go into Boston College. They're running the ball really, really well. So we'll have our hands full going on the road next week again.
Matt, in all the games, all the great running backs you've coached, particularly here at UNC, where does Omarion Hampton's game rank tonight in all the games?
It's as good as any. I mean, 249 yards is just absolutely unbelievable. I was on a radio show before the season started, and somebody said, where does he rank in the great backs you've coached? And I said, he's in the middle of it. And he really is. And there's some great ones. But everybody in the country would want Omarion Hampton on their team, and he's going to be a great pro player.